John 19:16 to 27 presents the climax of humanity's rejection of the Son of God and, at the same time, the fullest revelation of divine love. The passage does not merely describe the suffering of Jesus. It unveils the complete accomplishment of redemption, the end of the old covenant order, and the establishment of a new relationship between God and humanity, grounded entirely in his finished work. Pilate delivered Jesus to be crucified, and he went forth carrying his cross to Golgotha, the place of a skull. John emphasizes that Jesus went willingly. He was not a helpless victim trapped by circumstances. Earlier in this gospel, Jesus declared that no one could take his life from him. He would lay it down of his own accord. The cross was not an interruption of God's plan, but its fulfillment. The inscription placed above him, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, carried greater truth than Pilate understood. Rome intended mockery, yet heaven declared reality. Jesus truly was the king promised to Israel. Ironically, the religious leaders rejected the very Messiah for whom they claimed to wait. John repeatedly highlights this blindness throughout the gospel. Those entrusted with the scriptures failed to recognize the one to whom the scriptures pointed. The chief priests objected to the wording of the sign because they rejected the claim of Christ's kingship. Pilate's response, "What I have written, unknowingly echoed the unchangeable decree of God. The cross publicly announced the enthronement of the true king. In John's gospel, the crucifixion is not portrayed merely as humiliation, but also as glorification. Jesus reigns through self-giving love and sacrificial victory. The soldiers divided his garments and cast lots for his tunic, fulfilling Psalm 22. John wants readers to see that every detail surrounding the death of Jesus unfolded according to divine purpose. The cross was not chaos, it was fulfillment. What appeared to be defeat was actually the completion of all that had been written concerning him. The seamless tunic is significant. It resembles the robe of a high priest, reminding readers that Jesus is both sacrifice and priest. Under the Old Covenant, priests continually offered sacrifices that could never fully remove sin. At the cross, Jesus offered himself once for all. Nothing remained to be added afterward. The entire sacrificial system reached its goal in him. Standing near the cross were his mother, several women, and the disciple whom he loved. Even in suffering, Jesus demonstrated compassion and covenant faithfulness. He entrusted his mother to the beloved disciple, creating a new family centered around himself rather than natural lineage or ethnic identity. This reflects a major theme in John's gospel. A new covenant community was being formed through faith in Christ. Jesus' words to Mary, "Woman, behold your son," and to the disciple, "Behold your mother," reveal more than simple concern for earthly care. At the cross, a new humanity was emerging. The old distinctions rooted in covenant identity were passing away, and a new people united in Christ were coming into being. Relationship with God would no longer be mediated through temple rituals, genealogies, or national boundaries, but through the Son himself. This passage also points toward the approaching judgment upon the old covenant world. Israel's leaders rejected their Messiah, and the crucifixion became the decisive moment exposing the failure of the covenant system centered in Jerusalem and the temple. Jesus had warned repeatedly that the old order was nearing its end. Within that generation, the temple would fall, vindicating his words and signaling the complete transition into the new covenant age he established through his death and resurrection. The cross, therefore, stands as the dividing line between two worlds: the fading age of law, sacrifice, and temple worship, and the new age of fulfilled redemption, direct access to God, and covenant life in Christ. Jesus bore humanity's sin completely, ending forever the need for repeated offerings and removing every barrier between God and those who believe. John 19:16 to 27 ultimately reveals that salvation is not rooted in human effort, religious performance, or covenant privilege. It is rooted entirely in the finished work of Christ. The King was lifted up, the scriptures were fulfilled, the old system was brought to its completion, and a new covenant family was born at the cross.